in connecting with our leadership panels. We are now moving on to our next leadership panel, which is on Indian mice in our mission mode. Each of our panels are designed to help the industry and the government create a strong partnership and position India into the next trajectory of growth. I welcome all our speakers and invite our moderator, Amrish Tiwari, who is the Vice Chairman of the nodal body India Convention Promotion Bureau, to carry this forward. Once again, thank you very much, Ashish Gupta, Consulting CEO. Thank you. Amrish, all yours, please.
This is Amrish Tiwari, your co-host from India Convention Promotion Bureau. So we are having a very important topic on Indian mice on mission mode. Tourism was the first sector hit by the pandemic and will be the last to recover. While domestic leisure tourism shows green shoots of recovery with the emergence of revenge travel, during the new year, business travel remains lull. The accelerated adoption of technology platforms by business to weather the disruption will mean mice, particularly international mice, will take a longer time to recover pre-COVID levels. Mice segment post-COVID is expected to see a shift moving away from interpersonal interactions. The segment has quickly adopted to technology and moved to hybrid events, which has resulted in some form of continuance. While one may believe that the segment will undergo complete change, we expect that the value that traditional form of mice events generate will eventually lead to recovery of this sector. Based on purpose for travel, other than for mission critical use like supply chain related travel that have continued throughout the pandemic, travel for sales and client related meeting is most likely to be among the first to return. The need for business travel will be felt in due course. Mice planner need to watch out and target the required sectors. This session will address the opportunity of leveraging India's destination variety and its diverse economic and technological sectors for promoting both domestic and international mice in India across the year. Today, I'm having a very esteemed panelist, Mr. Senthil Gopinath, CEO, ICA. Then we are having Mr. Ori Laha, President, International Association of Professional Corporation, IPCO. Then we are having Mr. Rakesh Kumar Verma, Joint Secretary, Tourism, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and Chairman, ICPB. We are having Dr. Rajiv Sood, Dean, RML Hospital, and Founder Dean, ABB IMS. We are having Maria. So Ms. Maria Egberts is in the Site International Board and Director for the Inspire Me. So I'm welcoming all of you to join this session. And my first question to Senthil. Senthil, I'm raising three questions to you. What should be the step taken by India to enhance its competitiveness ranking in ICA global ranking? My next thought for you is, what are the benchmark countries for India and what are the key policy actions that Indian policy can learn from them? And all nations are almost at ground zero in mice tourism. How and when does one start aggressive global branding for mice despite borders are not open yet? Over to you, Senthil.
Thank you. Great panelists. Glad to be with all my colleagues around. So hello to everybody. And congratulations for taking an initiative like this. I like the concept India Tourism Mart. So it shows us that our industry is resilient. We don't stop. We keep working on even during the pandemic. So great work by ICPB. And thank you for Mr. Verma to joining us as well. And Ori, of course, doing fantastic work globally. And all the others on the call. Good question. I think let me put it slightly differently to answer you this question, Mr. Amrish. First of all, it's important for India to invest on a national data center, which could track all meetings, events beyond the one from the market segment, with a long-term strategic importance for India, for example, 5 to 10 year plan. So it's vital to look at a data center so that the collection of data in a country like India, which has enormous potential and huge number of meetings are taking place. So a collection of data becomes a vital pathway to achieve a longer term growth 10 year to 5 to 10 year plan. The other important point is build a unified India bidding team. I think it is very vital because looking at the strength and looking at the importance of Indian associations, India has enormous potential and India has that kind of a strength with the unified bidding team, not only with Ministry of Tourism, but from PCOs, DMCs, venues, hotels and airlines, the professional congress organizers, the venues and the convention centers and bureaus. Now that unified approach will place India to achieve the global ranking in a much more unified process, because as I said, India hosts enormous amount of meetings, be it national, regional, or even international. So a unified bidding will help you to move forward. And then of course, invite all the national association leaders to be part of it so that they could be your ambassadors to moving forward. Consider having a fully fledged convention bureau. I think that's vital to achieve this unified approach. I know ICPB has been doing a great amount of work and leading the way. So it's good to have a fully fledged bureau, just like any other destinations, which has this bureau concept. And as I said, ICPB is already acting like a convention bureau, but it's important to have a larger association-based nation like India to have the convention bureau just like any other country, so that you become very competitive globally. Now, those are the three main answers to your first question, Amrish, about India's to enhance the global ranking of India. Now, what are the benchmark countries for India, and what are the key policy actions that India policy can learn from them? India should benchmark by purpose, such as against a successful economy, top meetings destination, and top benchmark ranking or numbers, because Indian economy is so diversified. There are enormous potential in terms of industries which can host conferences and meetings. So there are a huge amount. Then you benchmarking with others, you can benchmark with your own self. So the amount of meetings, amount of conferences India can host is vast. It's enormous. I would say you would be overtaking every other destination if you really benchmark with the local industries. So it's good to identify what are these industries and focus on that. India should benchmark based on key economic clusters or industries. For example, a destination should compare itself with another successful destination, because we should not compare, because they have set KPIs based on industries. So it's vital for India to set its own KPIs, the industries and the key economic sectors. Based on that, you can really look at larger meetings or conferences coming your way. The other important aspect is India should evaluate percentage bid won and lost as compared to number of bids that was submitted on a year basis. Again, going back to what I've been reiterating, the number of bids India could submit based on economic sectors, based on the number of associations based out of India, it's huge. So it's important for India to track the bids submitted and to increase and enhance the number of bids submitted, and also to track what are the bids won, what are the bids lost. So it'll pave the way for India to move forward and look at further winning and becoming a leading destination in the MICE segment. The last question, I like the version of Amrish, what you said, beyond ground zero. It's not really ground zero. I'm sure Ori would agree with me as well. As what we affected, it's not only the current effect on travel is international travel. Now, India is a great case study looking at the magnitude of the country, magnitude of the industry size, and India is relatively open compared to any other destinations which are struggling with this pandemic situation. So the domestic market, regional market becomes really, really vital on this short term until we all come out of this great challenge and come out of this pandemic. So global branding should be planned based on estimation of when your own international borders will be reopened. Until then, how do we focus on national and regional meetings so that our industry can survive and we keep moving our industry, and we will also achieve great evolution of knowledge and new ways of meetings by doing the national and domestic. And India, no doubt about that, has phenomenal potential on that. So therefore, targeted approach will make more sense. Likewise, you can't sell the whole of India at one go. We know it's India, it's a continent on its own. So it's better to focus on destinations who are COVID ready. So join hands, the PCO partners, the DMC partners are really waiting to join hands and look at which are these COVID ready destinations, and work along with them and attract the meetings. That's my thought process on your 3 questions. Sorry, I've been a bit long, but I hope I answered whatever the possibility.
Thank you, Senthil. Thank you. It was wonderful listening your views, and you very rightly said we need to benchmark the purpose and identified the reason and the have the effective data centers. And I think these are the key mantras, and definitely based on your feedback, GS Tourism is also here, and we'll definitely go back to the drawing room and the work out something, and hopefully we'll sign and with the ICA for this as well. And thank you, Senthil. I'll come back to you again. And my next panelist, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Ori Lahab, the president of AAPCO. Ori, my question to you is, Indian PCO need bidding support to bid for international events. One option is bidding support fund from the government that we have asked for in India. How are PCOs supported internationally in other countries? My second question to you, how are you assessing the status of PCOs around the world? Are those channels still intact? Or have many been impacted professionally and or personally during the pandemic? What are the revival lessons for Indian PCOs? And my third question to you, Ori, how do global trade buyer associations view India's MICE sector? What are the lessons for Indian policy makers from that? Over to you, Ori.
Thank you, Amar, and thank you for inviting me. I can only echo Senthil's words about the proactiveness and conducting this panel in order to have a quick recovery from the COVID situation on the MICE sector. For your question, I mean, bidding process, the site selection process for association, I'm taking the association point of view, is quite complex. It was complex before COVID and might be even more complex after COVID. And when we do site selections for our clients, we have certain parameters that we look for. Obviously, the cost or the potential revenue from conducting a meeting in a destination is one of the most crucial parts, because for association, the profit from the meeting is one of the main sources of revenue that keeps the association alive. And of course, every association will assess the overall cost of the coming to a destination, a venue, AV, catering, but also we'll look about how easy it is to travel for potential delegates, the hotel range, and so forth. And of course, evaluate how many delegates can arrive and what will be the support of the companies. And so overall, an estimation for a profit. Now, of course, if there is an incentive from a destination that comes from the government or the convention bureau that Senthil mentioned earlier, it is a good incentive, but it's not the only reason for choosing, because there's a bigger picture when deciding an association. And I guess that, there will be things that will be looked also post-COVID, that more parameters or criteria that will enter this site selection. Things like safety, how clean is the country from COVID, I mean, what is the facility, the venue facility looks like? Are there studio to accommodate a virtual meeting, a hybrid meeting? What kind of hygiene precautions does the venue look like? So that's let's say the factors. But I also want to say, which is important, is how much proactiveness is coming from the local association. And when you have a strong local association that is in good relationship with the international association, it also makes a big difference. And I here call all people involved, get involved on a personal basis on the boards of those associations. It also has a big effect about how they choose a destination and where they go to. And going back to what Senthil says, I think the confidence will come back from the national market. If there will be big national events and afterward regional events, of course, it will bring more confidence for international association to select a destination. So, of course, bidding support and funds from the government is essential, it's important, but it's not the only parameter that will make the decision. Regarding your second question about what the status of PCO around the world, I mean, in AAPCO, we just ended a few days ago our annual General Assembly and annual meeting. And I'm happy to say that we have a retention of 97% of our members, meaning 97% of our members kept their IAPCO membership, meaning they are still strong and surviving. I can say that the majority of the PCOs were able to adapt quickly to the new norm, provided a virtual solution, and I guess that they felt that they are really the organization that are connecting all the dots between the technology provider, between the association, the program, the scientific committee, and so forth. So the PCO is still very crucial, whether it's a virtual, hybrid, of course, in-person event. And therefore, we are happily very busy, very, very busy, but still eager to come back to in-person meeting, trust me. So for an international perspective, I think that the PCO are doing well, but again, eager to go back to traveling. And for your last question about how the Global Trade Buyers Association view India MICE sector. I think that, again, here I go back to the confidence that national business will bring if associations will see big national meetings and then regional meetings. It will bring more confidence. I think that there's not enough people know enough about India, and I agree fully with Senthil. There's a huge potential. I mean, I personally, with Kenneth Group, with my company, have conducted some successful international events like the World Stroll Congress in India, and there's no reason why we can't bring big international events to India. But on the other hand, we need to work hard on marketing the destination, focus, again, just echoing what Senthil said, focus which destination are most relevant to international associations, and invest a lot in marketing and with conveying the right messages to the right target audience. But of course, we'll have to work on the perception. Thank you.
Thank you, Ari. Thank you, Ari's wonderful thought as you make the institution label. You talk about the subvention scheme, the proactive approach, which is very important because everybody is active in the MICE industry, but one need to take a leading step and become a proactive approach. And that's the mantra for nowadays business. And I'll definitely have those points while redesigning and reshaping the Indian MICE industry. And my next panelist is Dr. Rajiv Sood, founder, Dean, ABB IMS, and RML Hospital Dean. Dr. Sood, as a global buyer of destinations for events, what do you find are the strengths that Indian MICE has in aspects of branding, infrastructure, and pricing versus those of other destinations and countries? My next question to you is, how ready and competitive do you find Indian PCOs versus their global counterparts? What do you think need to be done at the PCO level and at the country level to make them truly international bidders? Over to you, Rajiv.
Thank you for inviting me in this panel. And it is elite panel where all the views are exchanged. As the user of these services and with the experience of some of the organizations and interacting with the PCOs and also organizing many conferences, and bidding also, I'll only like to mention that initially, maybe few years back, we were not that mature. Our PCOs are not that mature that they are all capable of bidding internationally. Many are there at small level, at higher level. Now you are talking about those who are involved. When we talk about that, there has been some challenges internationally which I faced. When we go on the invitation as the head of the organizations, as the head of things, some countries, there are a lot of incentives which are there. And what happens that they actually, in some countries, I'll not name, if you want, I can name also, I have been, and even government has funds, enough funds to support financially the delegates also. And they are encouraging the delegates, they have the schemes, and a large number of delegates are benefited directly, not through the pharma industry. I'm in medicine, so not through the pharma industry or otherwise, the government directly is helping. Now, when we go, I had gone through Ministry of Tourism also for bidding. I won the bid also. But there also a condition was there that if you win the bid, then only you will be reimbursed, otherwise you will not be reimbursed. So that was another thing which I was 10 times thinking whether to go for bidding or not, because it was difficult. Then some of the local organizations, like you are saying, they had come forward to support. The other thing is the awareness. Awareness is in the beginning also I have mentioned, the awareness needs to be special effort has to be there for awareness, because many organizations are there, they want to do the activities and very good activities, and but they are not able to do at that extent. They know they are capable. We have now state-of-art venues also in Delhi itself, where I am living. So many convention centers are coming. They were not there. In fact, we were not able to host many conferences where the audience at one time was more than, say, 2,000-3,000. If you say that a conference needs 5,000 persons hall, it was not available. Now they are being created. Now coming to in the COVID era, which has been mentioned, when these efforts were growing and these venues are developing, and we have some of the bidding has already been done, and we were on that pace. We were catching the pace, but this COVID era came. And now coming to the proactive local associations. Associations are run by the leaders, and leaders are there who are proactive, but the members are sometimes the roadblocks, because they are not confident about we were talking about clean cities, COVID point of view, or we were thinking of the confidence which is there. We have an additional challenge that now we need confidence building, not amongst the PCOs, not amongst the organizations who are the leaders and leading, but also amongst the participants. I'm sure that if we were having the gathering of 5,000 in today's scenario, if everything, all permissions are given, even then the gathering will not be there. Maybe that we want to do that. There are some inhibitions that if you are above 60 years, many are above 60 years or nearing 60 years, comorbidity, many are with comorbidity, people are hesitant, and that's why the culture of hybrid conferences is going to stay. And because this hybrid conferences are going to stay, if not virtual totally, the actual attendance will decrease. So confidence building is very, very important. And the proactiveness will come only after that. Once the confidence is built, awareness is there, and we have to choose really the good destinations, good countries where the clean environment is there from the point of view of not only COVID. Now people are more careful, and I think at this time, I'll like to mention these all observations which we are facing, because I have lined up around 6-7 conferences in next 2 years, and I need real help. That what should I do? How many? I'm not sure that if I call for a conference, if my Urology Society conference, I was expecting that around 3,500 people delegates are going to be there. How many are going to be there? Now, if I give the call, what arrangements I have to make? I'm totally, I don't know what will happen actually. So these are the real challenges with the organizers. They want to do the conferences. People want to meet in the physical conferences. The venues are developing. Everything is happening. But basically the people who are going to participate, how they are going to react to these arrangements, how they are going to react to these facilities, these are the question marks. And if I say that I'll book for 2,000 people, maybe that there I may get to 750, and some people say that for a long time we are not meeting. No, you make an arrangement, even bigger arrangement. many people will come. So what exactly is the ground reality? We are not knowing at present. And all hotels, small meetings we are doing, they are lying vacant. They are in problem. Jobs are going. Even in PCOs, jobs are how they are happening. They must be knowing. But what I observe, that will is there, but confidence is not there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sood. I'm sure कि when just tourism will speak, so he will share few of your thoughts, which already taken place, like as you rightly said, कि winning, you said कि it's supported, but when you did not lose, so you lose money. But actually, Ministry of Tourism has a scheme called MDA, where the first runner-up and second runner-up also get the contribution. But I'm sure कि Jess will inform this detail. But let's come to the next panelist, which Maria Egbert. She is from the Site International Board and represent Eye of the MICE, and that is the one thing which create an experience and cannot be possible in the virtual mode, I think. So Maria, my question to you is, where is India placed globally in terms of incentive versus other destinations globally in terms of perception, destination choices, safety, sanitization, and overall appeal? Other destination and countries. Pre-COVID, out of 17 million foreign tourist arrival in India, about 11 million were classified as tourists, which much lesser proportion of corporates set to travel in the future. How do we increase our share of incentive business? Over to you, Mari.
Good morning, and thank you, Amaresh, to be part and represent the eye of the incentives. We are small, we're strong, creative, and we are really resilient. So it's great to see and be with you today. And India, what can I say? It's a beautiful country and it has a great value proposition. And I heard already before among the other panelists as well. I think really important this moment is trust and confidence to build on. The perception, it's always about that. What do people feel? Are they secure? Do they feel safe? And I think in that point, that's very important as well for India to communicate on that. And it came already out with the other things. And I think when we have something happening on a national level, if you're able to use that as well to broadcast to the international market, that would really be good, because then people really see it is possible. For us, of course, for me, originally coming from a small country of Monaco, so India is huge. So it's also the size of the country, which really influences, and they say, okay, but communicate, because I believe that India as well on infrastructure, there are the big cities, but there are also other locations more out in nature and outside, which are easy and feasible to do as well in this moment as well. Of course, air will be important for the future. And I think right now it's still early, you're still close. When things will be opening up, what we see right now as well, that we receive requests already, but it's more from the national market and the neighboring countries. And what I hear from you as well, it will be the same thing for India, restarting after COVID and say in the next normal. Communication is key, and I think it's very important, the collaboration between all the partners within the destination, so the CVB, DMOs, and all the destination partners to really show what you're doing. And that can be done also through, for example, I don't know, using an influencer, or have your program or a meeting you're organizing. Do something, use the social media tools. I know you're great in India with technology, and I think that's also one thing what will help you as well in the next phase of it. But show the world what you're able to do and how does it work when you're arriving at an airport, which safety and sanitation measurements you've put in place. And I think India, before everything happened, and we saw that also in the Incentive Travel Industry Index, which SITE does together with the FICP and IRF, India was very well placed as well before, and incentives were increasing. And I think after we have the people are willing to travel again, they want to sit back home, they want to see the world, go out there. And I think in the value offering of India, you have beautiful transformational experiences, and I think people are looking for that as well. And perhaps in the beginning, it will not be bigger groups. And I think that is also one trend which will be in the the future. It will be more, perhaps also smaller incentive groups where people are able to enjoy as well individual experiences. And I think combined with your beautiful nature, what you have in India, also wellness, I mean, that could be also another niche, and that's really on the rise right now. Adventure, bucket list experiences. So these are all the elements which in an incentive travel program we're always looking for, and that's what the buyer is saying as well. And then don't forget the cultural heritage what India has. So you have a lot of ingredients already in the destination. And I think if you combine that together with the personalization of all of your offering, really, because that was already important, that's even right now more important, creativity and then responsiveness, I think India is very well positioned to be present as well. It's a thing of perception, communication a lot, and showing what you're doing. The second question, what you asked about the what you're able to do as well, the corporates set to travel, and how do we increase the share of incentive business in it? I think it's again communication, what you're all are doing. I think right now as well, communicate on contracts, and that you have your contingency planning in place. Really use as well the communication together. Why not as well when it's possible to organize an educational trip to show really with some industry people why, to showcase and let these industry leaders or your corporates, the buyers really express themselves as well, why India is ready to welcome then again also incentives. And I don't know if you would like me to add, because I can continue, because incentive travel is my passion and that's the thing. But there are a lot of things. And I think for the incentive travel buyer, people would like to come back. It will start nationally and then following. I'm sure that India will come back again soon.
Thank you, Maria. You very smartly and very passionately touched the 3 points. That is India's soft power, that is the technology, how technology used to communicate in an effective way. You talk about the India's emotional side that is creating a wonderful experience. And you talk about the India's cultural heritage. If we combined all the 3 in a more effective and more professional way, so we can get the incentive, what the incentive planners worldwide are looking at. So thank you very much for deep insight. I'll come back to again. My next panelist is the policymaker, Mr. Rakesh Kumar Verma. He's the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and he's the Chairman for India Convention Promotion Bureau. Mr. Verma, despite so much of an effort in working the government, tourism forex earning is not treated at par with exports. Consumption by a foreign MICE within India should not be taxed. How should that go about to be corrected? My next question to you, sir, with multiple activities to be done simultaneously, what should be out a stepwise restart plan between center and state for MICE tourism? Mr. Verma, over to you.
Thank you, Amresh. It was wonderful listening to all our co-panelists with a lot of deep thoughts and good insights. So for your 2 questions are concerned, I think the first issue of taxation, it's been a long pending demand of the industry, not only the MICE, but the entire tourism industry. Tourism to be treated at par with export of goods, which will give impetus for growth of tourism industry. It will make Indian MICE industry globally competitive. And the issue has a lot of merit and needs serious consideration. The concerned ministry should look at the international practices and ensure that we follow the best practices and provide a level playing field to our MICE industry. The Ministry of Tourism will work with the industry and other ministries such as Commerce and Finance to find the best possible solution for this. I can only mention that we have a scheme, Champion Sector Scheme, where we are taking care of this taxation to some extent. So we reimburse the GST for our foreign participants. But then again, it's not a substitute for declaring tourism as an export industry. More work needs to be done by the government in this direction. The second issue of restarting of MICE activities and what central and state agencies have to do. I think there has to be a coordinated approach and planning between various central and state agencies. At the central government level, the first priority will be to work with Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Health, Ministry of External Affairs to plan a calibrated opening of our visa and international travel. That's the first requirement for international MICE. The central government will also have to lay down SOPs for international travel and ensure hygiene and safety standards for the new normal post-pandemic across the tourism value chain. The third will be the support of the state and the local governments to provide necessary support on ground for holding of MICE events with necessary assistance in public health measures and other safety norms for holding events. State and local authorities will have to make necessary arrangements for any emergency so that there is no panic and COVID positive cases are dealt in an orderly manner. States and cities should also encourage domestic MICE events and target outbound MICE events to be held locally. Some of the points that Professor raised and we've been discussing as part of our ICPB, I would like to share on this platform. It is a very important and promising segment of Indian tourism. Many Indian cities have good facilities and offering which can be projected on a global platform. Government and businesses need to fine-tune strategies to sell an integrated offering to the participants who come to India to attend an event and go back with a memorable experience. We have 5 major cities which can easily come in top 100. Currently, only one city is in top 100 in terms of number of events that we hold. We are also developing other destinations, the iconic tourist destinations which have MICE facilities. So that makes out a good case to put these additional MICE destinations to the global platform. We have Khajuraho, Bodh, Mahabalipuram. These will be very interesting destinations for MICE. Champion sector scheme that we probably need to incentivize more and put more benefits for it. We've been discussing about more professional strength to ICPB so that it can play a more meaningful role. That also we should soon work out a plan so that when Professor goes for a next round of bidding, we are able to give him more professional support, more administrative support, and we assure that we are working very actively on these fronts, and we should have a new avatar of ICPB very soon, with all the powers and resources which are needed to really fast track MICE industry. Thank you.
Thank you for your encouraging word, Mr. Verma. And now I move to the questions which need to be replied by all of you. So, Mr. Shantil, you can start, then Ori, and we can follow the order, or any order you can answer. But I need the answer for the next 3-4 questions from each of you. My first question to all the panelists, which has come from the the delegates who are attending the conference, that is, what is the mood of investment in global hospitality, CEO offices, either strategic or financial investors for investment in MICE infrastructure, India and overseas in both way? Shantil, you can unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, that's something you're still learning. Sorry about that. Thank you for the question. I think if you really look at the global infrastructure investment in our industry, even during the pandemic time, the number of convention centers, the infrastructure development, I would say to a great extent, it has not slowed down. It's moving forward. Why? I think, like the Joint Secretary said as well, we are industry. It's industry of evolution. We keep sort of discover as and we move on. So I've been keep seeing, particularly in Southeast Asia, the Asia Pacific region as becoming very bullish in terms of infrastructure development in the MICE industry. The new centers have been going as planned. New venues are being opened as planned. Hotel investments are quite large. If you see, chain hotels are going ahead with the plans. Although their inventory and their the number of people coming to those venues are completely gone to a lower level. But having said that, they know when the reopening comes in, there is enormous potential. Our industry will bounce back for face-to-face meetings. So this infrastructure need to be ready. So the plans have not slowed down. I would say about almost 76% of the plans globally are going ahead.
Thanks, Shatel. Ori, how this association or the PCOs are looking this investment in the destination, which is the new destination coming up with the huge investment, because MICE in the infrastructure industry, to be honest, so how you are looking this into MICE perspective from the PCOs?
I can only add, first of all, we need to look at the traveling, because we need to arrive to a destination. So ease of traveling, visas, how easy is for a person to travel, not only direct flights, but also accessibility at large. And so that's one thing that destination, or we look for in destination. Of course, the investment in technology in centers will be crucial. Strong internet connection to enable us hybrid solutions, and also a lot of contactless solution, because we will need to reduce the physical connect, and therefore solutions for could be quick registration process, flawless, without touching anything. Again, hygiene measurement. Those are the things that will be relevant post-COVID, but also were relevant even before. We've seen face recognition, badge printing already, and I think that will be more important moving forward.
Thank you. Dr. Sood, since you are bringing large number of big conferences, as you said, line up the 6,000 people, 8,000 people conference on the urology and various subjects. So how you are looking the new investment coming to the lesser known destination? Because if we talk about the India, you have the Delhi, Hyderabad, are few destinations which is well established, but lots of new destinations coming up, like the Khajuraho, the iconic city, is coming with the 1,500-person convention center. The Bhopal has converted their heritage building of 1909 Minto Hall as a convention center, come up very beautifully. So lots of this kind of investment is happening in India. So Dr. Sood, how you are looking this? Are these exciting you, or you still face the challenge?
Yeah. So on this point, I'll have few observations. We are globally traveling also, and we are seeing that what all in some of the good destinations, how we define them. It is India is a great cultural and historical heritage, and whatever business meetings or conferences we are doing, these are the satellite destinations. Satellite destinations need to be more developed. They are getting developed also, like Khajuraho and all. We had some meetings there in these destinations also. But one thing is there, you take the example of Delhi or any big city. If you talk about cultural and historical heritage, you go to US or European countries or any other African country or anywhere, there are historical sites, other cultural events are there, but in coinciding with your conferences, can you participate in that? Can you see that? Only you know that this site is there. You miss the conference or you miss the site, but there are certain arrangements have been done. This is for attention of Mr. Rakesh Vermaji. I'll mention that when we go to certain things, there are historical places, they arrange some events inside that. Here it is mostly banned, and we are deprived of that. So Ministry of Tourism has to think on that to develop the site according to the cultural and historical heritage. You have to integrate these sites to your industry, so that they are visited, they are participatory, and like in Delhi, we with special permission only. It is not a routine. I had some connections with the approaching railway minister. Rail museum was open, but it is not a routine. It is not available to PCOs that they go and find these sites, attractive sites, so that the people start visiting the destinations. You identify certain destinations, but make these destinations not only attractive from the convention center point of view. You are doing that. That is a great thing. In India, several cities are now developing very big and good convention center. They were lacking. They are coming. They are coming in Hyderabad. They have come in Delhi, in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, everywhere. Now we are comfortable. But for other integration of your cultural and historical, it is not only in the books or on internet. We know that this is the city. If you integrate some of the activities, maybe one activity or maybe some attraction, then I have gone to many countries also where we have gone to the hotel and come back from the hotel. Then how we are talking about cultural and historical heritage and other things. So this is a small point, but important in that. Now coming to the satellite destinations again, they are very attractive concept. In India especially, there are certain sites which are very, very promising. You have already tapped some of the sites, and once we start exploring and exploiting all the available resources, it will be really nice. And travel is the problem sometimes. The site is very, very good. The destination is very good. If you go to, say, we went to, with one of the event, we had gone to Jodhpur. But then the ticket which was available in 3,000-4,000 Indian rupee, that was available in 35,000 to 40,000 Indian rupee, because the travel was the challenge there. So it is not only that the satellite destinations are good. They are good, really they are good. We had planned a conference in Bhutan, and there was so much rush of registration and for enrollment that we had to cancel that, and we had gone to Mauritius because we were not knowing that how to handle all this. So satellite destinations are very good. India is very promising. We have certain challenges. They are getting over by time. We are solving them, and I hope they will be solved. So this is the comment.
Thank you, Shah. Maya, I'm attending the Site Global Conference, be it in Beijing or the Bangkok, the Delhi, the Rome, the various places, Rotterdam, and attending all these site conference. Myself is a site member as well. So what I found, every time incentive need an iconic site, to showcase, to explore and glorify it and create those experience moments. So how important this cultural heritage aspect for building up the incentive?
Yeah, indeed, I think that's very important, because when you want to travel, and I think in the future even more, you really want to know that where you are. So you must feel the country, culture. So if you have to stay only in a hotel, bar room, and conference center, it's not enough. So I think really, if you're able to add that cultural heritage, and just already, I think already right now with the health and sanitation, it's nice to have as well an outside location, not only in the hotel. So give them the experience to be out. And I understand you have a lot of magnificent sites in India. So yes, I can recommend that people are looking for that as well. But I think as well, right now, after this year nearly, that we are more home, when we're going to travel and we're going for an incentive trip, people are really looking forward to have something unique, extraordinary experiences. And for me, it is really the meeting local people, knowing the local culture, the exchange, and special places, because only then, and then of course it comes together, I think, as well with the design of a program. And I think that will be in the future even more important. That's for a conference, a meeting, a retreat. That's very important, that you really take into consideration. And I think for there is also a big role of the agencies, the DMCs in India, to really create and design with intention a program and echoing with all the other colleagues said as well, how we're able to insert the cultural heritage of India. And I think as well, nature, you have all the elements I told you before. And I think as well, a key point, technology, yes, that's important because also there will be contactless, it's important. But I do believe as well, sustainability. I had to mention it, but a little bit more specifically, that will be a big, big thing. And I know India is making progress. It's always a thing how to showcase. So showcase, it's important to gather data, like before you said as well, to gather data on request and what we're receiving in the markets. But it's also important to measure what we're doing. And as an agency and the buyers are looking out for it. Before it was more ticking off the box, if the CSR was in it. But right now, I think in the future, they really will be looking into it. And also to leave a legacy, because I think as well, India, you have a lot of things to offer, the magic, the destination, and culture. So you're able as well to create that liaison, that the people go home really within their heart, a piece of India. And I think that's the best thing you're able to transmit with an incentive travel program.
Thank you, Mick. Mr. Burma, the question has come up. India is investing huge in the MICE infrastructure. India International Convention Center, IICC, is coming at the New Delhi in the near Aerocity in the Dwarka subway with the investment of approximately $4 billion investment and 600,000 square meters space is coming up. The Pragati Maidan Convention Center is whole development phase cost another $1.5 billion. Geo Convention Center is coming up Mumbai. They're claiming they are going to become the, if not the world's biggest, Asia's biggest convention center. So this kind of investment is coming up in various places. So how government of India and the policymaker are strategizing their financial investment, because most of the investments coming in the PPP module, and how you are strategizing to promote them globally?
I think, Amresh, as you said, the public investment in infrastructure is a priority area, and every ministry is increasing its budget in terms of investment on infrastructure. Our own ministry is developing number of tourism destinations, creating infrastructure. What we are moving towards is more focus on destination planning. Are we integrating our offerings? Are we really making a complete plan for the destination? And also destination management. That's been one area where a lot of improvement is required. So moving forward, we are putting up a system for destination management at most of our destinations. And third, as we have been discussing, maybe city level bureaus for convention, that could also add value, because they can bring together everyone from within the government agencies to really deliver value to the events and the guests who come. So I think these steps will lead to improvement in the offering, in the experiences, which people who come and attend those meetings and also enjoy the cultural aspects, the heritage aspects, the creative aspects. And as Professor Raj said, someone has to carefully curate them. Someone has to carefully, integrate them. Obviously, they are not coming here only for vacations. If they get a couple of hours in the evening or in the any time, how do you really fit that into your destination's cultural offerings? So the offerings will have to change, the timings will have to change, the administrative rules will have to change. And I think we are willing to change that. I think the point well taken, Professor Raj, and most of the destinations should really align and plan in such a way that they add value to MICE events, they add value to the guests who come for MICE events. And we are moving in that direction. And with destination level management, with the destination level, at least at the important location, city level bureaus, they will play a more proactive role in getting everyone together to make sure that there are no gaps.
Thank you, Mr. Verma. When I was preparing for this session, so I spoken to a couple of destinations, the PCOs, the convention centers, the hotel industry, the buyer, and especially in the France, Japan, China, Korea, Italy, UK, USA, Germany, and Holland, and the Switzerland. So when I spoken to all of them, I found that taxation is not only an India-Pacific issue, which we are cribbling all the times, it's a global scenario. So my question to all my esteemed panelists, how competitive is MICE in terms of overall taxation in MICE versus those of other countries in leisure tourism? And what kind of resistance or leverage do you have when selling MICE to your global counterparts? Over to other panelists. Can I start with the Ori and then Senthil?
Yeah, you refer to taxations, right? So it is true that in many destinations, as an international PCO coming with an international association, we have tax benefits, not only on claiming tax from expenses, but also getting an incentive, what you go VAT exempt. So you can also have zero VAT on your incomes. For a large association, this is a significant revenue source, is very much important, and it's a good incentive for association to choose a destination. Again, it's not the only parameter, as I mentioned earlier, but it is an important part of the decision-making process and makes our life as planners much easier, and for the association as well. So only that. I just want to add on what Meg said about sustainability. I think it's I think we haven't spoke about enough on this, but it became an important topic before COVID. It will remain very important after COVID. More and more of international association will look to a more sustainable event, not only offsetting carbon by flights, but also how the venue is managed, which go back to your previous questions, the removal of single-use plastic, about the energy consumption within the venue, about the traveling within the destination. That will also be very important moving forward.
Thank you. Senthil?
Just to add on to what Ori said, I think before I answer the global taxation, just a point, like Bill Gates referred to sustainability issue, it's another biggest pandemic we all are waiting to face it, and it's uncontrollable pandemic. So I think that's something we all have to start working on. That should be in, which I keep seeing more and more with all the global associations, be it an incentive organizer, be it a conference organizer or a meeting organizer. That becomes a buzzword, and it's really getting focused, and we all have a share to play there, and we all have to be part of it. Global taxation is a phenomena. It's been in the industry for many, many years, and it's I wouldn't call it a problem. Like Ori mentioned also, it has a lot of added benefits for associations when they organize the event. I'll go back to what I said when we started this session. It's important to identify key economic sectors. Now, if MICE industry in many countries, many competing countries, like Amrish, you said, some of the benchmarking taken place, these governments have identified the MICE segment as one of the key economic drivers. If you take all of Asian neighbors, be it Japan, Korea, or Singapore, Malaysia, any of those countries, they have identified MICE as a key economic sector. So I think that's the first step. For a moment when we do that, then the taxation becomes a issue which can be tackled within that economic sector. It will benefit, like Professor Sood, the association segment, which is trying to organize events. So there are many destinations have embedded the taxation into their economic sector activities and bought as MICE as one of the key economic sector. So then it's not seen as a problem by the global organizers, whether it's a global PCO like Kenneth or association. They will become it will become an attractive source for them to bring the meetings and the incentives to that destination. So I think it is a first point. I know, Mr. Verma, like you rightly mentioned, there are a lot of initiatives being taken by the Indian government and ICPB towards that direction. I think that's what we need to work on. So the moment we bring the MICE sector as a key economic sector, I think that will benefit and will resolve the global taxation problem.
Maria, when you organize the incentive, so did you consider the tax part while making all the incentive goes on the luxury segment? So how you consider the tax components when you plan the incentive?
It is important, but it's not the most important thing, what I've seen with my clients as well, because there are also other decision factors. And of course, it's important. And depending, of course, every destination is different. And that already starts within Europe already, because we are one united, but every country has its own thing. And so every time you're organizing and planning going to another destination, you have to take it into consideration. And of course, and I believe, yes, it is an important element of it. And of course, it must be addressed, what you before as well both mentioned. But it's not the main factor for the incentives. But of course, it depends less. If you have to have certain benefits, of course, it makes it easier to make a decision. So it is a win-win in the end. So that's one thing.
Thank you. Senthil, there are few questions for you. And the first question for you is, Senthil, as India is aiming to create MICE leadership, which should be India's benchmark competitors. And the next question to you is, from 2 cities in top 100 of ICA ranking, can India aim to have 10 cities in top 100?
Very good question. I'm sure India can definitely. The answer is yes, of course. I think the benchmarking, like I referred earlier, it's very important to see that your key strengths. So it's very important to identify your own sectors. What are the sectors India is strong of? So if you, for example, if you take technology, if I give an example, India can have thousands of conferences only in the technological sphere, because such advanced, engagement of associations are in India. So you should benchmark with your industry. That way, yes, definitely you can achieve much more advanced, much more in the ranking compared to other cities. Looking at the first 2 cities, how they position themselves, it's exactly like combination of all what we said: nature, culture, adventure, your infrastructure, all combined. And of course, looking at how do the local association, the ambassadors become very active. So they attract the PCOs, they attract global associations to come and have the Congress. If you take that approach, I'm sure India can get into that global ranking very sooner.
Thank you. Next question for the JS, Mr. Burma. What is India's plan for integrated MICE destination?
Amrish, as I shared with you, we are investing into some of iconic destinations, and we've carried out very comprehensive planning to make sure that the destination is benchmarked with the best of international and national practices. And these 19 destinations we are developing, our plans are ready, our resource planning is complete, and in next 2 to 3 years, we would be completing most of these destinations. Some of the existing destination where again the investment into some of these assets is happening, we would like to have a city level management so that we provide that integration of the facilities and a single window to MICE event organization and the MICE industry. So that will also add value. And as you said, we'll be constantly looking at, obviously, as someone pointed out, we have to market our facilities also. What we are creating, what we are planning, that has to be told to the world. So I think we should take aggressive marketing to bring it to the notice of all our clients, the people who are going to organize meetings. So I think we are on track, and you will see that a lot of places will have much better offerings for the industry.
My next question to all the panelists: is there something called destination loyalty in the MICE? Anyone can take on the question. Is there something called destination loyalty in MICE?
Absolutely. If I may start, Amrish, I'm sure the other panelists will follow. Definitely, there is a destination loyalty. If you listen to all my colleagues, what they spoke all about, be it incentive or in conference, let me speak on the conference segment. Destination loyalty remains strongly, I would say, more in MICE than in any other sector of tourism, because the word of mouth, the economic benefit, we always say that MICE brings 6 times revenue, and MICE brings your families and three conferences from a conference. That's the proven research. So MICE always bring a very strong loyalty. Again, a country like India, if you look at the ICA membership, the loyalty is achieved through expertise and the knowledge of what we have. Our members or the entire industry, if you take any of our association, our membership is extraordinarily knowledgeable, and they create that loyalty for the MICE segment. So I'm sincerely thankful to the entire ICA membership, and of course, Ori will echo that as well. Our members really ensure that loyalty is built. So over a period, if you take any destination, whether it's Europe, Africa, Asia, or Latin America, North America, these destinations grew through because of loyalty. When we went to a trade show about 10 years ago, we had almost about 45 to 50 convention bureaus. Today, you go to a trade show, there are almost 140 plus convention bureaus globally. That shows, due to loyalty, every government, every policymaker decided to move towards the MICE segment and started investing, opening a bureau, opening even cities, leaving destinations, smaller cities, first tier, second tier, third tier cities are establishing MICE. Why? Because there's enormous loyalty from the associations and other segments of MICE. So yeah, the answer is definitely a big capital yes.
Anyone else?
I want to add. So loyalty is being built by experience, trust, and relationship. When you have a good experience in a destination and you feel that the local partners are working with you together and you build a trust relationship, this is the destination you will always want to come back. If I had a good experience in Hyderabad with World Stroke Congress, yes, definitely I would be happy to go back. And I want to give an example, let's say outside of Asia Pacific or India, let's say Europe. We've been working a lot in Gothenburg, for example, which is a destination that also has a very strong convention bureau and work a lot on marketing, and maybe it can set as a good example. When we're, beside the fact that we have a good experience, the teams that are working with us from the convention bureau and the convention center, they're working with us like they are the Kennis team. They are like our part of the PCO team. And sometimes you even get confused who's from the venue, who's from the convention bureau, which is a good sign. And of course, if you have such a good experience, a good relationship, loyalty is built naturally, and you want to go back to the same destination. So yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Sood, your thought on this? You need to unmute yourself.
I fully agree. It has to be built with the confidence is the factor. And then see, if you go to US, you know that 5 or 6 cities are there and big convention center. We rotate there only because we have confidence. We know that what all we are going to do there, and we have belongingness that this year we are going to Chicago. Next year we will go to say LA or Atlanta. So these are some cities. It is not that then they have the satellite destinations also, as we are discussing for the smaller gatherings. For the other gatherings, we have gone to Marrakesh, like Morocco. There it was totally different experience and different venues. We had gone. We can go and enter their parliament. We can have a meeting and dinner there in many places. In evening, social evening can be arranged. So it is my suggestion that, like I did one big conference and I went to Qutub Minar because I thought that this is a very good and spacious area and some corner where it is visible even from the distance. We will get some space, but we were denied. And then we were told that you go to Old Fort, their leisure show is there. But see, you have to integrate your value destinations, value heritage points. And India has a vast scope, and they will become royal destinations, loyal destinations. We have lot of potential, and we are not exploiting that. And we have to define that which are our big destinations and also satellite destinations, and how to integrate with our heritage. So that is my view.
Thank you, sir. Maya, your thought on this, because incentive keeps traveling to the exotic destinations. So what is your thought on this?
I think, yes, loyalty is very important. And as the others mentioned as well, it's trust and relationships. And I think perhaps even with incentives, even more, because the personal relationship you have with your local agent on the ground is very important. And having as well the other associations here, I believe also the associations are very good and helpful in this, because that's also a way to maintaining relationships, building trust as well, and to having a really reliable partner in the destination. And I believe as well for India, but I think for every destination, the destinations will be coming back. And loyalty, yes. And I think as well, also it's about personal connection. And as I think as well about Indian level of hospitality in all the sectors, that's really high. So
thank you. My next question to the site, ICA and EAPCO, other than the financial capital, human capital is very important. So skilled people is key for the MICE industry. Can there be a MICE specific graduation level qualification? If you can, Chantal, start this from the ICA's perspective.
Yeah, Amresh, of course, no doubt about it. We continuously emphasize on skilling our workforce globally. And with pandemic, reskilling has become much more important. We all are looking at new ways, and our workforce has been badly affected globally as an industry. So we need to bring all of them back, very importantly, because they need to have the jobs back. And also we need to, when we restart, we'll have enormous amount of dearth of requirement of human skill, particularly in our industry. So looking at this fact, we as ICA, we launched the ICA Skills program, which will be at a high level of event industry qualification, where it'll nurture our industry to look at the future, not only post-pandemic, of course, look at on a long term, how do we survive, how do we sustain as an industry? So what we are doing is we are taking the entire knowledge base of the industry. So it will be contributed by our own members. So globally, from industry expert thought leaders from all over the world, including the academic support from many universities are joining in hands. So this knowledge base will become a foundation, and that will take forward from a training perspective. And it also will give people who are already in the industry at a senior level to sort of re-enhance and re-qualify themselves and be ready for the future.
Thank you. EAPCO perspective?
Yes, I mean, I think now more than ever, it's a time for upskilling our people in our industry just before we go back. So it's a good opportunity to do it right now. I mean, all three societies, SITE, ICA, EAPCO provides educational opportunities. I know that, we have launched our WebEdge, which is an online learning platform that can allow a certificate for Congress project manager. They've done it online. But in addition, we have our own seminars specifically, and we were reached by a destination within your region, like Malaysia, like Thailand, to do bespoke seminars to their people, again, to ensure professionalism, upskilling, and to be ready for the new norm. So yeah, absolutely. I think education is critical right now.
My last question to all the panelists, and I just expect the answer from all of you. The question is in two parts. First part is, which are the top 5 industry segments that Indian MICE need to focus on, and why? My second and final question in one final word from all of you. One must do for India to restart. What must we do all to restart India as a MICE destination? So first question, what are the top 5 industry segment we need to focus on, and what we do correctly? Over to all of you.
Again, let me start. I think this is my version, Amresh. Maybe I'm wrong there, but from a perception of looking at the Indian industry growth, I think medical, which is the largest segment of meetings globally, and India is at the forefront for many, many, many years, decades and decades. The kind of expertise, the kind of thought leadership, the kind of professors we have, like Professor Sood, they represent globally in many panels, many boards, many associations. So that's a huge industry for India. So I would call it, if you put only that aspect, the number of meetings India can attract, which is all India is attracting at the moment, could be tripled or in 4 times bigger than what you're doing. Technology could be their second largest segment, where India is advanced from technological point of view globally. That could be the third industry. I would call it general retail sector. If you look at India's retail sector, is one of the largest in the world, and we see that when I say retail, it doesn't. It's not specific to one sector. It's across all the sectors. The expertise and the knowledge India has is phenomenal. And then these three sectors, if you focus, you can have almost 1,000+ conferences a year. The second question about one word, I would like to emphasize on what Maria said earlier. The key word to restart, it's not only for India, globally, we as industry, we need to synergize the way we do. So we need to communicate and collaborate, and we need to talk as one voice. I think that's what very important, so that all the governments and policymakers will hear us as one voice. So the advocacy can be at a very high level so that we can restart our industry much quicker than we think. Thank you.
It's funny, Senthil, because I wrote almost the same thing you just said. Yeah, I can only echo medical technology and retail. I would also focus a little bit the technology, maybe agriculture as well, and the combination, because between technology and agriculture, between technology and retail, of course, and medical. And yeah, I also wrote advocacy because I think it's time to advocate, or not time, but we all need to advocate to our government that economical recovery can start from the mice industry.
Maria?
I echo, because I hear this word, because instead, I really agree, the economic recovery must be included. And unfortunately, I think right now, most countries realize that we must be part of the solution and coming back as well. Yes, I had the markets the same. I will add something on financial insurance, because what I see right now, these are the ones are making requests as well, and they want to travel because they went on virtual online and they have increased their business as well. Luxury segment, another thing, because luxury big brands are continue as well, and as well India is an important market. And then as well, saying about the others as well, it's communication, collaboration, advocacy, and sustainability. And I think one voice altogether, and looking at us all together, I think we are in good shape.
Great. Mr. Burma?
I think I agree that medical and technology, two fields have a lot of potential for us, and we need to nurture them and grow them. As for restarting the MICE tourism, I think the trust and confidence. So India must tell the world that how successful we have been in controlling the pandemic, how we've put systems in place so that people are assured of greater level of health safeguard and hygiene safeguards. So that story needs to be told to people, communicated to people, so that they have trust and confidence traveling to conferences back in India. So I think that will make a lot of difference for us to restart MICE industry.
Thank you. Dr. Sood?
So I agree with most of the panelists. One thing is there, the COVID is a medical condition. I was a doctor, and I have seen that during COVID era also we had many meetings. Even face-to-face meetings were also there with distancing. So I feel that the recovery in this field is going to be very fast because of the advancements and all, and every time our knowledge becomes change. I mean, so many things change that we have to meet face to face, and we have to exchange all our, and medicine has at least 32 major specialties. So a lot of scope is there. This era, these pandemics, endemics, and epidemics, these are all other opportunities also in a way. They are obstacles, and for the future they are opportunities also to expand our meeting and contribution in the industry. And at the same time that I have already expressed that if we integrate our things properly, and we plan it properly along with not only the organizers on one side and PCOs on one side are planning and then submitting to Ministry of Tourism. Even it should be the equal brainstorming and to find out solution across the table, that how to make the event interesting. And once the prototypes are developed, we can replicate them very well, and they are going to be great success. I feel that once the fear of this corona is over, this industry is going to boom again very soon.
Thank you, Dr. Sood. One final, last, but by no means least word by Indian PCO. So I'm inviting Girish Quatra, my colleague and our secretary, India Convention Promotion Bureau, ICPB, to give his thought on the last question. Girish.
Thank you, Amrish, for the kind words, and it's good to see Senthil, Oli, and Dr. Sood, of course, and Marek and Ashish is there. Thank you very much. I think very important which industry to focus on, and I absolutely agree and echo what of course Senthil said. Medical is the largest medical industry in the world. The largest mice all over the world is medical. 60% of the global mice is medical mice. So I think India, of course, proves the same. India is the largest COVID vaccine supplier in the world. As Dr. Sood said, there's opportunity again there, looking at the COVID perspective. And I think second is IT, Senthil, of course, I echo the same. And third is finance. I think India has become the financial capital of the world gradually. So I think finance is one of the major factors that India should focus on. So my top three are medical, IT, and finance.
My last word, we are ready to be as a PCO intermediary. We are ready to become the bridge to make this mind from the supply and chain a perfect destination. With this word, I'll pass on to our moderator, the Assis, who is coordinating this thing. Over to you, Assis. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Amrish. Thank you so very much, JS Rakesh. Thank you, Dr. Sood, Mike. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ori, and thank you, Senthil. For all our viewers around the world, I'm sure you found this interesting, how all our panelists have together shared their perspective of how Indian mice can move forward. And as you would have seen in all our modules, each of our modules is addressing a particular vertical that FATE, along with the government and all the associations, is taking forward to rebuild and revive the industry. For all our panelists, for all our participants on the world, thank you very much for joining in. Hope to see you in the next session. Please click on the next one for all our panelists. Thank you very much. Amrish, thank you for a wonderful panel. Namaste to all of you. Thank you and stay safe. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think we can end with a big bang start.